Speaking of woke people, Ben Stein, are you familiar with him? And I don't know when this happens, but maybe people are telling me he was always this person when he was on Ferris Bueller and some other stuff that I don't remember.
I think was he like a speechwriter for Nixon or something? But then he then became like just a pop culture figure, removed from as a kid, I just knew him as Ferris Bueller, The Wonder Years. I think he was part of the
Wonder Years. Yes, yes.
So he was just this kind of acting, this one note character until you learned that he was actually, I guess, pretty right wing guy.
Well, yes, you are correct, sir. He wrote speeches for Nixon and Gerald Ford, falling down.
I'm making
Gerald
this
Ford.
Seriousness Friday.
Yeah, no, it's all right. It's all right. We got it. To your point, though, he went to law school, graduated valedictorian of Yale Law School in 1970, and yes, wrote speeches for Nixon and Ford, and went on to become a D-list actor who now is an A-list troll. I'm gonna play a clip. Recently, he said, "I wish that we could bring back the old black women on Aunt Jemima. Why'd they remove her?" I think he's just trolling us because he's way too smart. And again, I feel like no one cared about him. So again, who's canceled? You can do these flame throwing things like what DeSantis is doing in Florida and maybe become president. I don't even think they believe it, but they have nothing to lose because, of the way they look. There's not much that's going to happen. And all they have is to gain, because now people are talking about Ben Stein, including my ass on these airwaves. Smith, let's play the Ben Stein clip, and I'm going to ask the audience a question, and JL.
I was a child growing up in Maryland and spending a lot of time in Washington, D.C. I would drive by the neighborhoods with my parents driving cars, where predominantly black people, in fact, almost all black people live. And they looked so raggedy and sad, and their neighborhoods were so run down and miserable. I just thought, wow, what a horrible way for these poor, honest, decent citizens to live. If I woke up in the morning and I were, as we call them then, a colored person, black person, call them now, I'd want to kill myself. That was, let's say, 60 years ago. And now, ladies and gentlemen, if I woke up and were a black person, I would think, well, I have every opportunity to go to a really good school. I have every opportunity to live in a really good neighborhood. I have every opportunity to get a really good job. The whole system is now set up so that I, as a black American, can have every chance at a good life. And that is incredible and unbelievable progress. It's never discussed in the media, and it is a tremendous miracle.
That's a tremendous. So he said when he was a child driving through Maryland, he would see these raggedy, rundown neighborhoods. And he said, if I woke up and I was colored, that's what we called them back then. He's trolling. Now they're black. If I were colored, I would kill myself. Now, he said, before that, he said, I'm so sick of black people complaining. You have everything. Right. That's what led into this thing. It's like, I want to ask the audience, what are you sick of? 866-801-8255. This has been Stein's bane of his existence, is that black people are complaining about the conditions, and we have everything now. I just want to ask a question, Ben Stein. How many days have you spent being black? 866-801-8255. If you're listening, Ben Stein, I would like to know your experience as a black person. How many days have you spent being black to be able to make this assessment? And
does that include Halloween parties that I attended in the 80s?
Let me find out, JL. Is that off the cuff, or do you have a Ben Stein in your repertoire?
No. That was,
okay. I just you should bring him in, but I don't think he deserves
slurring. No, he doesn't deserve to be in the pantheon.
No, I agree. As a person that most people don't know has black lineage, you get to see a lot.
Oh,
would you agree with him? Like, the low key, I'm gonna say this. It's Friday. Y'all can at me. The number here is 866-801-8255. I wouldn't have killed myself because, my grandparents, parents, great grandparents, thank God none of them killed themselves, living in a horrific existence. My great grandmother actually lived on a plantation. in Georgia, lived on a plantation down from the big house. Still, my mother used to spend time in actually it was Somerville, South Carolina, with her grandmother on this plantation in the summers. So none of them thought about killing themselves ever. So you don't understand Black people, number one. But I do think that there are a lot of opportunities, but we're not going to be quiet with just a good enough pat on the head. Well, you have more than you had when Black women still make 69 cents on a dollar. Not doing that. No. Equity, equality, all of that will be demanded. Rights, we were born with it. We're going to get those too. And if our equality makes you feel oppressed, that's too damn bad. And so I'm sick of complaining ass white people making up stuff and gaslighting. That's what I'm sick of.
It's a lot of it, I think, is also projection, because I mean, I not to keep bringing this up forever, but January 6th to me is such a perfect example of, you know, the same people that will try to call that a peaceful thing that I got out of hand or whatever are the ones who are so quick to describe the George Floyd riots, not the protests, George Floyd riots. And I go, even if you look at the two motivations behind those things, even if you want to accept what they're saying as, okay, let's say they were riots just for argument's sake. One was about the unending stream of unarmed dead Black men and the anger that bubbled up from that. The other was losing a completely lawful, getting blown out in a completely lawful election. And you decide to try and take over the government, whereas dead Black men led to like some burned out CVS's. Like, you know, the proportion, it's actually like, that's fairly proportional in terms of the rage, history to damage ratio, whereas the we lost fair and square, let's destroy government seems very disproportionate. But I think a lot of this is always projection, because it is this idea of like, what would we, I think deep down inside the Ben Steins of the world, what they're really thinking somewhere in their mind is, what would, like, that's why he said, I would kill myself. He probably would if he instantly became, he's sort of telling on himself. I think he would kill himself because of what he believes being a Black person in America is or was. Yes. Part of that's thanks to him and his buddies and his heroes. So he kind of, in a weird way, is like, I would kill myself if that was my life, because I don't want any part of that or being that. But he'll couch it in sort of just purely economic and opportunity terms, but there's a lot more underneath that, clearly.